Hello and welcome to What We Are Watching. I'm Catherine.
Hi, it's Liz.
And I'm Ed.
And John.
Okay, so I wanted to catch up on a couple of things that I had mentioned that I was watching, but now I've wrapped up. I've finished. Woohoo! And then also a new thing. Well, not new, but, something that I hadn't mentioned before. Okay, so I'll start. I think The Boys. Are you guys watching The Boys?
The boys are watching The Boys. We're not finished watching The Boys. We have the finale, which, there's a bunch of finales, some are real long. I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Okay, so The Boys, it was season 3, and it's 8 episodes. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's... all 3 seasons have been 8, 8, and 8. So now wrapping up this last season. I had mentioned before that it was super gross, and I won't say anything more than, that would be spoilery for the finale. But Eric and I did watch it together, and we did finish it. So good job, us. We really enjoy it, even though sometimes I'm like, ooh, that was too gross for me.
Well, it's not like a sustained gross or ickiness like Stranger Things. It's just like, man, that was a wet season.
Yeah. Quick flashes of gross. John did point out to me that the descriptions were very funny for each episode. They were in universe and I hadn't noticed them at all. They're very funny. So those are another little gem of what they did this season. The only person that I want to call out is Jensen Ackles, who I knew very well from watching many seasons of Supernatural, which I actually ended up not watching until the bitter end, which...
How do you know it was the bitter end?
Well,
you didn't get there. Could have been real sweet.
Yeah, some people were pretty bitter about the end, actually. But
how could they be bitter? It's already got a spin-off with the prequel. It's fine. Everything's great.
Everything's great. Don't worry about it.
He's in The Boys now. You can't doubt.
Yeah, so I did enjoy the progression of getting to see him. Like, he starts off with just a little bit, and then over the course of the season, you get more. I mean, he's a heinous character, so that was great. I don't know. Anyway, so finish The Boys.
He is the antithesis, like from The Boys having already had a character that was like the opposite of Captain America. He's like the original Avenger version opposite of Captain America. Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, just bring up someone from the 50s. Maybe not. Maybe that's a bad move.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it was fun to have him, but not a fun character, really. I don't know. Anyway.
He was a great additional beard to the season.
Yeah, a good beard. Nice to have so many beards. Okay, so then I also finished Umbrella Academy. Who else was...
I'm watching, but not
done?
Not done, no.
Okay, so we can put a pin in that, and we'll come back to it when you're done. I really like this season, though. I was very happy to, have it and get to watch it. I did watch it pretty quickly, relatively, but yeah, anyway, did finish, so we can talk about it more when other people are finished.
Who else is watching that besides me?
All of us are under the umbrella.
Well, John, are you and Ed watching?
We will probably once we finish The Boys.
Okay. Oh, maybe a joint watching. That'll be on the list. Okay. I should also mention finished Man Who Fell to Earth. So,
gosh, I'm not done with that either.
Yeah.
I have all these lingering ones.
Yeah, it's hard, especially if you watch it with people. Do you watch it with Mark?
Yeah. I can't. It's so, the obligation to couple watch is really obnoxious.
Yeah, I used to...
You literally feel guilty if you...
Oh, no, you can't watch it without...
That's why I sneak watch shit.
I like sneak watch. I absolutely sneak watch.
Guilt watch this because 2 episodes in, I'm like, he would love this. He'd want to watch this with me. I don't have time for that bullshit.
I don't have time for that bullshit. No. Yeah, same thing.
In like, what are you watching? I'm like, oh, nothing.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you. Occasionally, Eric will come in. He'll see what I'm watching. He'll be like, oh, this looks good. I'm like, I'll rewatch it with you, but I'm not stopping because I can't.
I can't slow down.
Yeah.
We can tandem watch. You can watch it.
You can catch up.
Yeah, but
watch at whatever speed you want, and then I'll just talk to you about wherever you're at. Right. I'm finished, but I'll talk to you where you're at.
Yeah, so I feel like The Man That Fell to Earth, I have
quite a bit left.
It might be half the season.
Oh, so, wow. You're on a slow roll.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's frustrating. If you like something and you can't get through it.
An intentional pun of The Man Who Fell to Earth on a slow roll.
On a slow roll.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, we did finish it. We really liked it. John, were we sort of watching it with you? Did I mess that up? No, we weren't.
Can you remember
No.
anything?
No.
Yes, we all watched it together.
Okay, good job. So we finished it together. Well, John, you didn't even chime in like, yes, also, I was watching it with you and we finished.
That would imply that I knew where you were going, but I don't. So keep going.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying that we finished it and we really liked it. That was it. But it is weird when you think about the shows that you end up watching with other people and the timeline that makes it happen at a different rate than you would normally watch something. So I probably would have watched it even faster if I wasn't watching it with other people, but whatever.
I will say, I feel like I've said this before. Ron Delaney.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah. When
That he
he
was-
came in, I feel like the whole series went up a couple notches.
Yeah, that was your whole nother level. That's
Yeah.
what you said about it.
Yeah. That's why I keep wanting to get back into it, but I cannot yet.
Yeah, well, you can't do it by yourself. That's why. So, anywho's it, badoo's it. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, it was kind of slow because it was Showtime and it was only one a week anyway. So, it was.
So you could not binge it.
Yeah, you couldn't blow through it too quickly anyway. Okay, so. And then my new thing, which is not really a new thing, but it might not be something that anybody here is aware of. It's a show on Showtime. It's called We Hunt Together, and it's in its second season. And I watched the first season. It's a BBC show, so it was only 6 episodes. So it's, kind of quick.
And
it was
you're
like,
lucky to get that many.
yeah, you're lucky to get that many from us. That's what BBC
What
said.
is that about?
Well, it's about kind of a murdery couple who figure out that they like to do the murders together. There's a detective team, and they're looking into this weird. It's a murder show. That's the short answer. The short answer is there's detectives and there's a murder and other murders and maybe long ago murders and new murders. So
Yeah, that does not normally sound like your jam.
I do like a mystery murder thing, so I don't know how I ended up watching it to begin with. I do like one of the actresses. Her name is Eve Miles, and I was aware of her before. I think she was in the Doctor Who spin-off.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
So what was that, Ed? Do you remember? Torchwood, right. So
She was
I
actually on the series and in Torchwood. Pfft, whatever, messing the canon up. It's fine. It's Doctor Who. It's time travel. It's great.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. So I think I was flipping around channels and, discovered it and saw her and was like, wait, what? She's maybe had a heroin problem and is now a detective. What's her deal? And
That's the backstory.
yeah, that's the backstory.
Okay.
And she's kind of grumpy and disheveled. And I was like, oh, I like a female detective story. I'm in. And then the main girl who's in it, I don't know her from anywhere, but Hermione Corfield.
Oh, another Hermione. Can there be 2 in the universe?
She's great, and I'd never seen her before. She's fantastic. The whole first season was really good. I think you can just watch it all on Showtime on demand if you have Showtime, and that's how I ended up watching it. Because then the second season, for some reason, I didn't even know it was happening, and my Showtime was not recording it, even though it was set up to record new episodes. And I was like, wait, what is that? It's happening now. It was all on demand, so I just watched it. So anyway, but it was really good. I really liked it. So that's on Showtime, and it's short, just 6 episodes, season 2. Okay, and the last thing, this is kind of a weird, about a month ago.
Oh my gosh, you're watching so much.
Of course, I'm always watching so much, but this is a weird little thing that happened a month ago. I watched it recently, and then something else made me go back and watch it again, like just a little bit of it. But okay, you guys all remember Bo Burnham's Inside, the Netflix movie? that he did?
Fabulous. Yeah, I think it won a few Emmys.
So then it was a year ago, and then this year in May, so he released the movie in May of last year, 2021, and then this year, May of 2022, the very end of May, he released more songs and behind
On
the scenes.
Netflix?
It's on YouTube.
Oh.
And it is incredible. It's
What?
also, I remember watching Bo Burnham Inside, like first sitting down and just watching it, and all of the process was so fascinating to me, like when he's like setting up all this stuff that he bought and like checking these lights, and just it's a lot of that. And then you also get a real insight into how hard he works and how many different takes there were of everything. It was great. So that's on YouTube, and it's so worth a watch.
Isn't it something like Inside Outtakes?
Yes,
Something
it is.
like that, yeah.
Yes, it is Inside Outtakes, which is so funny. I didn't even hear it that way, but yes. So yeah, that's great on YouTube. And I had watched it right when it happened. At the end of May, but then something came up recently and I went back and watched. One of the songs is incredibly funny.
Yeah, if you have not watched Inside on Netflix,
that's amazing.
It's watching a creative genius who obviously was used to having outlets, but because of COVID didn't and decided to still create. And it is just in a very confined space with really nobody else's input. And it's just fascinating.
Yeah. I think what's interesting too about these outtakes is there was a little bit of not criticism, but people talking about is this really organic and authentic that he's stuck inside and really having no contact with anyone? I mean, well, no. I mean, yes, he was, I guess, living with his girlfriend and this was his workspace.
Right.
And but that's not.
Yes, he probably did leave his house.
Or
but
whatever. I think.
As a stand-up or a performance artist, no, you could not perform that year.
Well, right. And also that's not the point that it has to be the truest, authentic, he never.
It was a performance.
He lived in that exact room.
Yes.
What? No. It was,
I got FaceTime with my mom. White woman's Instagram.
White woman's Instagram was incredible.
It's really, really good.
The song that I ended up having to go back and listen to super recently was 5 Years, which is a ridiculous, funny song about his anniversary with his girlfriend, which is, it's not in the main one. It's only in this extended one.
I don't remember that one. Okay.
It is so funny. And you're how did you have more songs? There were so many in the main, and then there's more. Okay. Anyway, that's my little thing. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Obviously loved the movie. And then this is just icing on top of the cake. Because it's also, for me, I love a behind the scenes. How did he do this and what was his process and all that? And it's much more of that.
So Inside on Netflix, but then the YouTube is where you'd see the behind the scenes.
Right. And it's called Inside Outtakes and it's just on YouTube. So there you go.
Great.
It's so good. Okay. Who wants to go next?
Ed, why don't you go?
I'll go next.
Oh, perfect. Ed is going to go next.
Well, on our last episode, we got all caught up on Stranger Things, and that was a lot to get caught up on, all caught up on. So I had to cherry pick something else, and I'm getting ready for a different podcast that we do. So I'm watching a whole bunch of Taika Waititi stuff, and I'm all right, I need something entirely different than all of those. What do I bring to the podcast? I bring reality TV stuff. Right. All right. What's out there that's new? Oh, I forgot. Big Brother started. So I binged the first
watch Big Brother?
5 episodes of this season.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's not like I've been a huge fan and I haven't watched since the first season, but I probably watched 12 seasons out of 24.
Wow, that's
there's
a lot.
There's some skips because there's not great casts some years.
Of course.
But if there's all-star casts, that's the best because you're I know those characters. I hate that guy. I want to see him get really far and then lose. That's not this season. It's a regular cast season, and it's just gotten started, and they had an everybody can stay vote. It was yeah, you're going to leave. Just kidding. It's the first week. No one leaves the first week. So it was. I'm glad that I waited a month so that I could binge through those kind of build up the characters, get everybody on the teams, and then do a whole bunch of voting, and then it didn't matter. Yeah, that's not really a great way to burn through the first 3 episodes, but we're past that now. Now into probably this coming weekend or this week, there'll be another live eviction, and who knows what's going to happen this season.
And that's all Julie Chen.
I know. Yeah. I was just going to say, I did know that it was happening because she's doing interviews or press or whatever.
Okay.
So you see her on the morning show. Yeah, I was going to say morning shows, but obviously she's just doing the CBS morning show. So, right. But yeah.
And as soon as they have someone off, then they have them on the next day, and they do a whole bunch of press junket type of stuff. So yeah, I'm not getting up early and watching that. I watched the episode. It's fine. And I watched the episode later on, 2 days later. So I entirely missed. So I don't want to ruin. You can't be watching the morning news if you're not watching it the night before. It's like spoilers on the morning news.
Yeah, no. They assume you've already seen it. And you already know who's out.
It just looks miserable.
It kind of really does. And
I mean, as an experience, maybe as a viewer, it's entertainment. I'm just saying to actually have to live in that house with the lights on, like it seems like 24 hours a day.
What cracks me up is when they show the bedrooms and it's like 7 twin beds in a room. It's like, no, I can't sleep with anyone else in my room. No, get out. It's Eric or nobody. Forget it.
Yeah, it is very much at this point. All the reality TV, group living situations are. You are signing on for that? Okay, well, there's a good paycheck.
Well, paycheck. That reminds me.
Only if you win. I mean, obviously, you probably get some day after rate, which means.
But I'll say as long as there's a prize at the end, then I can understand you wanting to participate. But Eric will watch Naked and Afraid, and there's no money. Like, why are you doing that? There is no money.
The prize at the end is some calluses on my butt.
Terrible. It's what I mean. Maybe if there was a big cash prize, I could understand. But they're like, dying of heat stroke.
The bug bites alone.
And the bug bites.
Forget it.
Oh, you with the bug bites, forget about it.
Oh God, they would have to medevac me out of there. No, I mean it's like, oh, why don't we just cover ourselves in mud? But and then you're gonna blur their little bits because they're still naked for whatever reason. Why? What? Ugh. If there's money, then okay, I get it. But no money. Come on. So at least Big Brother, there's money. Somebody's going to win money.
I have never watched a season of Big Brother that didn't have prizes throughout the season. So you can lose and still win. I've seen at least, I'd say at least 10 players over the years leave with $10,000, and they were like the 6th person out of the house. They kind of made it far, but they also put a target on their back when they got cash. They're like, yeah, you already have cash. Get out.
Ooh.
Now, do people from Big Brother end up doing other stuff in media? Like, is that also a launching pad for other stuff?
Like The Bachelorette.
For sure. Bachelor and Bachelorette.
I was going to say kind of, because you do end up with some spin-offs, and then they'll end up hosting and coming back on the series again, and they'll do a little bit of other stuff. I haven't really seen anyone. I mean, there have been like probably 2 that have actually spun off and have full-blown careers, and I've lost track of them. They're like hosting someplace on CMT or something. But there have been a couple couples that have come out of it, like they got married or met on the show or like got back together in an all-star season. And there's one couple that actually had, like, CBS was actually having them back to kind of do their wedding on camera, almost like a bachelorette type
They're
situation.
like a homespun celebrity.
Basically, they're like, you get ratings whether or not you're trapped in a house or in a marriage.
Yeah,
it's great.
People care about them on our channel, so we want you back. Great. Interesting. Well, it reminds me of Survivor. It's like there's so many contestants over so many seasons. Like
some stand out.
Yeah, some stand out, but not all of them are gonna.
All more like that. I almost could say I'm watching one that's all 3 of these: a Big Brother, Naked and Afraid, and the Survivor, all crammed into one.
Oh God, what's
Westworld?
Snowflake. Oh, God, which that's really hard to follow. But
what did you say, Eddie?
Westworld.
Snowflake Mountain, which is on
God.
Netflix. I'm watching it with Ethan, my son, and it is just. It's because he's 14 we're watching it, because it's kind of a safe version of all these shows. But there are times I've said, because the prize pot was $50,000 to begin with, and it's sort of you're all in together, and if anybody leaves, the pot decreases by an amount.
Oh.
So you're trying to encourage each other to stay.
That's an interesting...
And it's sort of, I want to say like ne'er-do-well young adults who their parents have had it with them, and they're forcing them out into the wilderness for survival camp with these 2 co-hosts that are like ex-military who are so awesome, and they're trying to like guide them through they have incredible patience. So it is enjoyable, but how realistic.
Well, it is a reality show, so it's not exactly real.
They're like, this is unbelievable. They're always saying, like, how are we going to survive this? And
wait, is it American or no?
They have some British and Americans on it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And so,
where is this Snowflake Mountain?
I don't know. I mean, it is cold, so maybe it's somewhere in Montana. I'm not really sure. They didn't say, because it's a secret location. Because they all thought, their parents all tricked them into thinking they were going to some like exclusive resort that they're going to be pampered and taken care of, and like, you know, immediately their luggage is blown up and like,
what? Oh my gosh.
we still think that's going to be a trick, you know. But back to the prize money, it's gotten to a level which, if any of them understand what taxes are, it's like, get the hell out of there. This is not worth it.
This is not worth it.
I mean, no.
And not to pile on to the, you know, I mean, it's a thing. If you want to become a television star or a media star, or you want to go into that direction for that, the prize really isn't the prize anymore. Are you kidding? It's the career you get out
well,
of it.
you nailed it, because, you know, like I said, the two hosts are great, Matt and Joel, but there was one character he was such a character, and he basically opted out to leave because they probably didn't really explain to them exactly what everything was, and so they didn't know what they were leaving. And it's one of those moments you go like, he's gonna regret it. I think his name was Solomon. Solomon's gonna regret it. He's gonna look back and go like, just the exposure.
He could have stayed longer.
And the perks that might have come after the fact for him. Right. So, but he bailed and decreased the pot. So,
whoops.
Yeah, and they're all inappropriately dressed for the wilderness for the most part. You know, I will say one of those shocking moments is, you know, does a bear shit in the woods? I mean, watching one of the contestants do that was like, they had to blur it out, but I was like, oh my God, what is happening? So kind of like Naked Afraid. So, wow, we don't normally talk about reality shows, but see, we even watch those.
Yeah.
All right. Liz, what else have you been watching?
I got on the culinary kick. One of them was a recommendation by one of our listeners, but I was flipping channels and I fell into the first one was The Chef, which is a Jon Favreau film.
Oh, yeah.
Written and directed by him and starring him, triple threat. I feel like it must have been in the middle of the Marvel franchise where he wanted a bit of a break because he cast Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. I think there might even be somebody else. I'll have to look for a second.
This is the one where he has a food truck, right?
Yes. So he's got a food truck, but it really starts with he's the head chef in a restaurant, and sort of the meltdown that is the tipping point for him to then decide to strike out on his own to do a food truck. And then the journey of, you know, self-discovery and, you know, beginning anew and redemption and all that. And Sofia Vergara's in it, looking sexy as hell. Dustin Hoffman is as well. He's a... Yeah, you really want to smack Dustin Hoffman, but you know he's great in it. And John Leguizamo, who is really the co-star along with a young kid, Percy, MJ Anthony, I think is the name of the actor. He was great as well. So just little cameos by Robert Downey Jr. You could almost see him be like, dude, I only need you for like one day. I only need you for one day. Come on, man. Come on. But Scarlett Johansson had a few additional scenes, but it was just so enjoyable. And then one of my favorite actors, Oliver Platt, was in it.
Ah, yeah, sure.
You know, so it's just a great cast. And it's, I guess the chef consultant on it was Roy Choi, who is well known in the LA food scene for his food truck. And, you know, and also you just watch and it's sort of like I'm sure you've food porn. So there's close-ups of food, sizzling, you know, all the sound effects, and everything looks delicious. The grilled cheese supposedly has become famous in it because it's just... I mean, there are times you don't want to know how they make the food because you're like, wow, that was like 7 types of cheese, oil and butter, you know, extra butter. Oh my God.
Or for me, like what you put mayonnaise on it and you fried it in mayonnaise.
He didn't do the mayo, although that
People love to do that.
Yeah, he did not. He kept it a little more traditional, but you know, it just was totally enjoyable. I think you can watch it on Hulu or HBO Max. And then from that, I guess Roy Choi and Jon Favreau decided to do a food show together. And it's called The Chef Show.
The Chef Show, yeah.
Yeah, so then I watched a bunch of episodes of that. And
that, I think, is on Netflix, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So I think there's 2 seasons of it. And that's just the two of them getting in the kitchen, sometimes with guests, sometimes not, really taking on a recipe and trying to make it the absolute best they can.
Love it.
And whether it be like, they're trying to replicate the beignets from, you know, New Orleans, the famous, which that is funny because Café Du Monde, that is the famous beignets in New Orleans. There's so much crossover in his life. You know, you almost can see it all interconnecting because there's a little through line, Café Du Monde beignets in the movie The Chef, and then it comes up.
Oh,
and, you know,
there's themes.
Yes, exactly. So that is a very fun cooking show as well. So whether they have guests on or they're just hammering out a recipe themselves, and they have a great chemistry together. And, you know, that's where I've gotten to this week of, yes, chef. Yes, chef. Thank you, chef. Because the language in a kitchen, you know, I went to culinary school and you were taught some of this, like behind, corner, door, like, you know, all those type of things to warn people in a busy kitchen. And so I was like, oh God, I remember all that. And when I graduated culinary school, the one thing I thought was, I do not want to work in a restaurant. I worked in a restaurant as a waitress, and just the pressure cooker of a kitchen made me like,
Working on the line is like a whole other thing.
Oh, and I had a partner in my catering company that did do that. And you also can get, you know, I don't want to say stuck, but how you learn is you get placed somewhere in the line on the grill or sauces, plating, and you are just,
that's all you're
doing.
That's
all you can do for 3-6 months a year. Now, this goes into a new show that was recommended by Kathy Delgado, one of our listeners. Thank you very much. Called The Bear.
Oh, I saw promos for that.
On Hulu. Holy moly. That definitely reiterated that I do not miss having ever worked in a kitchen. It was a cacophony of stress. It takes place in Chicago, and it's basically about a chef, a very well-respected, accomplished chef. He actually worked at Nomo, which is considered, I think, one of the top restaurants in the world. It's sort of, most people know about it because Anthony Bourdain, who's one of my favorite people on the planet, God rest his soul, he went there and kind of exposed the world to what this was. And it's very much a destination. So he was at Noma. And actually, there's this great scene with Joel McHale, who I think is playing the head chef, because he comes in and it is like, I mean, the psychological warfare terror that he instills on this character, Carmen, that you are like, you'd be a sadomasochist to enjoy this. But to some degree, chefs of that level are, because the grind and when you have to put yourself through and the hours. And so great scene with Joel McHale, and it's basically at Noma. So that's where he worked, left to now come do the family business. But talk about working the line. Like, you might only prep potatoes for a year. Like, but it's the precision and the level that is achieved there is just otherworldly. So he was from Noma, the chef Carmen, and he basically comes home to run the family business. I don't want to give too much away because it is a new show, family drama. They call it a comedy, which I was like,
so it's scripted. It's not a reality
scripted,
show or documentary.
So yes, it's about a young chef. He comes home to run the family business because there's been a tragedy, and he steps in to take over the family business. And the chaos that sort of ensues to undo what is, and that rang true for me too, because I sort of took over our family's business after our father passed away. And it's like, there can be things in motion that take a long time to undo, or you can't undo them because they're so ingrained. So that was fascinating to me as well. The lead, if he's not nominated for an Emmy, a Golden Globe, then we've talked about this last week when we talked about the Emmy nominations. His publicist did not do his job or her job, because Jeremy Allen White, Carmi, who
it might be eligible for next season. Meaning like depending on when it came out.
Right, exactly. He is very well known as the character Lip Gallagher from Shameless.
Right. That's where I recognize him from.
Fabulous. I mean, and this was, you know, a lot of times at the restaurant, they're focusing on, you know, maybe the dining room, potentially the customer. This is focused on what happens in a kitchen in a restaurant, the pressure, the time, delivering how it was always like a boiling, simmering pot. Always. I mean, and not only the pressure of getting ready to open the restaurant, but then, like I said, restructuring what was left for him that he wants to fix and make right. And then there's this dynamic with this, then their language, like, you call this guy cousin. And so at first I'm like, wait, is he his cousin? And it's played by an actor I just love from the show Girls, Ebon Moss-Baccarat. He plays Richie, and they call him cousin for some reason. There was a lot of Chicago vernacular, the way they would kind of interact, like, wait, who, what? is he related to you? I'm confused, huh? But it is so good. It is stressed to the nth degree. Great cast. Food, just, it's interesting. A lot of tight shots. So it's called The Beef, the family restaurant that he inherits.
And how interesting that we have a tie to that, to our family restaurants.
So
Big Beef.
The Big Beef, which was our grandfather's restaurant. So this is called The Beef in Chicago. And it's basically making that beef sandwich with, I don't want to mess it up, but it's a particular, every region has their specialty sandwich. That's kind of what they do. Yet they never really showed an up close of the sandwich. There are other food that they would show close-ups of, and like when they would take bites of things, you're like, why is there not smell-o-vision? But it would look so good. And the restaurant itself, you're like, goes through a transformation along with Jeremy through Al-Anon. He attends Al-Anon, and his sister is played by Abby Elliott, who's great. So really a fantastic cast. You almost feel like, it's done so well, it could be a documentary. And Oliver Platt is in it again, who was also in The Chef. So,
wow, cool.
And I'm like, what the hell are you just in all these food, themed movies? But
what do you mean it's so good it could be a documentary? What do you mean?
The acting and the style of filming and the pace
feels that real?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
/ food reality has really, really upgraded its game to feel almost cinematic, like almost film quality while you're watching someone in a real kitchen making something that went out to people that ate it. This wasn't a set.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, like I said, trauma, family, stress, there is emotional. But yes, chef. Yes, chef. Thank you, chef. So yet in the end, there is, I will say, I'm not going to give it away, but there is triumph and there is some redemption. So it's because there were 1 or 2 episodes that halfway through, I'm like, my God, I don't know. This is a lot right now. Like this is, if you're trying to calm down, like I'm just going to relax and watch this TV show. You're like, yeah. What's happening? This is too much.
I've had a couple experiences with shows where I'm sitting there going, yeah, I know this fight's going to get over. Are you conscious of the fact that your hands are gripping very tightly right now? Oh, no, I was not. I did not realize I was stressing out while I was watching. Okay, chill out.
And I really don't know if there will be a second season.
They are saying season 1, meaning like they didn't intend it to be like a,
the way it's left would be
or whatever.
Really interesting how they would do a second season. But it's entirely possible. So I would, gladly watch it again. But it's, like I said, I would think, having worked in the culinary world and restaurants, and now, that whole vertical and category of television, culinary chef shows. Top Chef is one of my favorite shows. I watch it every season, and they just were nominated for a bunch of Emmys as well for reality and host and all that. Mm-hmm. So, the world has become more knowledgeable of food and more appreciative of it. So you're just sort of like, oh yeah, this is...
Well, it's also like kitchens can be exciting. Food prep and like restauranteering can be exciting. It's not all Julia Childs with like a chicken in your kitchen.
This truly looked exhausting, like the grind of what I think it is to run most restaurants in the United States of America.
Yeah, it's probably...
Where every week, just to pay the bills, to get the food out and, to man the system, your staff is just such a challenge. So, but you guys show up every single day. So The Bear is what it's called.
The Bear. All right.
Jeremy Allen White. Fabulous job.
Nice. Okay.
And you know what else? That is what Mark would walk in on and say, what are you watching? Because my husband loves to cook. I knew episode 1, I'm like, oh, crap. If he catches wind of this, I'm not going to be able to power through this. So I would literally sneak watch it with my laptop. Like not even, or the kitchen TV. Like he'd come in and like click off or change it to something else. So he eventually did catch me, and it was like the big sizzling, side of beef or something, or chopping onions. I was like, oh, and he's like, what is that?
Well, does he ever just watch things on his own?
Yes.
So give him permission. Go watch this.
Well, for sure. And I said, I said, I finished it. I could not wait for you because I wanted to bring it up because, like I said, I was on this one trajectory. I go, but I highly recommend it. You need to start watching it. So, of course, dinner tonight was like gourmand. to the point I was like, okay, now, I'm going to get the benefits of all this, but, relax. And he said the same thing. He's like, I just want to see the sandwich. Like, I really want to see it. And you don't really see the customers. I'm like, it's not about that. It's sort of about the family dynamic. Hello. Just like our other podcast, Family Dynamics, your chosen family. That's the restaurant world, which is very known within that culture of that you spend so much time with these people that's what happens. So, yeah, The Bear.
All right.
And thank you, Kathy Delgado, for the recommendation.
Yeah.
All right.
And it has been renewed for a second season.
Oh, whoa. That will be interesting, and I will not tell you why.
There'll be a second seasoning. Hey.
But
All right, John, what do you got?
I'm in the middle of everything, so I don't got anything.
What? Just tell us what you're in the middle of then.
No.
Oh, we'll get caught up with you next time.
All right, so I watched The Boys, which is on Amazon Prime, Umbrella Academy, which is on Netflix.
But we didn't really talk about that. We might get back to that.
No, not really. I mean, I brought it up because I finished it. Man Who Fell to Earth, which is a Showtime show. And then We Hunt Together, which had 2 seasons, and that is also on Showtime. Hopefully it's just on demand on Showtime. And then also a reminder about Bo Burnham Inside. And then this new, a month ago, but new-ish, Inside Outtakes, and that is on YouTube. The original movie was Netflix, but this is just YouTube. Okay, so Ed.
And then I brought some real hot, fresh reality TV, Big Brother. Of course, nothing happened in the first 5 episodes, but it's fine because they have their live thing coming up this weekend. It'll be great.
It'll be great.
Okay, well then I was in the culinary world. I watched The Chef, Jon Favreau, which you can watch on HBO Max or Hulu. But I also watched episodes of The Chef Show with Jon Favreau and Roy Choi, and that's on Netflix. And then thank you, Kathy Delgado, again, based on your recommendation. I watched The Bear on Hulu. Highly recommend it.
Okay, well, thank you for listening. And please follow us on all of our social at Podcast Watching. And we have a Patreon. You can become a patron. And we talk about shows that we maybe don't like that much. Okay, so thank you for listening to
What
We're
We're
Watching.